set up to go live on Facebook.
Good morning.
Would you like a bulletin? Good morning. We're glad you're here. You're back, and we're here too. It's the place to be this morning.
Good morning, Julius. Welcome back.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you.
Good morning. I just invite everyone to please get into a more comfortable position. Just relax and lean back, and if it's comfortable for you, you may close or lower your eyes. And at this point, let's all take our deep collective breath in and hold it 3, 2, 1. You did that. So exhale. And let's do that one more time. You breathe in, hold it. 3, 2, and let go. Let's take this moment and focus our thought to the innermost part of our true self. And listen. Just listen to the stillness of this space. Today, I'm meeting my good with joy, peace, and calm in my heart. My good is at hand, and I cannot be robbed of it. Good is forever expressing itself to me and mine. There's no limit to the good which is already mine. I can even now see and hear and touch and feel and experience all the good in and around me. As I'm nestled in the arms of the divine, my confidence in the all good is perfect and complete. I realize that no fear, doubt, lack, nor any form of disease can even stop the flow and expression of good in my life and in my affairs. I'm knowing and allowing that my life and good are complete. I am peaceful and secure, knowing the one mind supports, protects, guides me with ease and grace. Today, I allow my good into my life and offer the door of my consciousness. I am receiving my answer, the truth being revealed, through the experience and appearance of any uncertainties. My high resolve comes quickly and fast surely back to me from the divine intelligence. My answer is the absolute truth, and it will not fail me, for the law of the universe is the power through which it comes. So in this stillness of space, I feel my sacred heart is full of love and gratitude. I give thanks to my inner life that is all good and complete, for all its marvelous wonders and for all its amazing works. As I invite everyone to come back slowly and joyfully in this beautiful, loving, and flourishing space of our center. And as you slowly open your eyes and feeling the space around you, listen, silently repeat these words with me. I know that every moment is a brand new moment. today and every day. I will sing, I will shout, and let it all out. For I know that I am hidden with truth in this perfect life. In truth, in perfect life. Namaste.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Look at this beauty.
Good morning. See you all.
Beautiful Michelle Roll. She's going to sing this. We're going to sing the morning prayer. And this is by Karen Drucker. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. Let's do that again. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in your faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. Kaden, do you have the words? Thanks. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free. As I continue walking in this mystery. I love those words. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in your faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. And I am kinder every moment, every day. One more. I will surrender every moment, every day. I'm so glad to be here with you
are the face of
Oh, and so in that place, in that space of total openness, total love, I just ask that you just lower or close your eyes and just know with me that as I am speaking speaking for each and every one. And so I just allow that spirit, that truth, that universal idea of that great I am to completely permeate my awareness. Knowing that it is always present and always just awaiting my recognition of it, I right now recognize the oneness, the unity, the love, the peace, and the wisdom that Spirit is. And knowing that it is in all ways, with and through and as all of its creation, I know that I am one with it. And so therefore I cannot help but express oneness, unity, peace, love, wisdom, in all that I do and all that I am. And so right now I make welcome for this day new ways and new ideas of bringing that oneness and that love into my life and into my expression. Knowing that as I surrender into that I am making welcome more opportunities to express myself as the love that I am. I make welcome opportunities that allow me to bring a greater sense of peace and wholeness, health and prosperity in all areas of my life. And knowing that it touches each and every person I come in contact with, for we are all one. And so that energy, that truth is permeating my life and permeating the lives of everyone I meet. And knowing that it is in this sacred space, this center for spiritual living, that teaches me and reminds me of this truth. And I know that it is through the support and love of the ministers, the ministry of prayer, the volunteers, our staff, our musicians, our technicians, and our teachers that love me up through it all. And so for all the good that this day brings, for the message that Reverend Stacy delivers that touches each and every heart, and for this place that loves us all up, I just say thank you. And so from this place of humble confidence, knowing that there is a law that is already saying yes to everything I've spoken, exactly or in greater measure, I say bring it on. And I release my word to that law, knowing it is done, so I easily and confidently release it. I let it go. And I say, and so it is.
Lauren and Aldo. Sounds like a party, Rev. I don't know about you. Now we have a fun one. We got a nice up one for you. This is by Carrie Lynn. I want to see. Boy. Carrie Lynn Boy. That's for St. Frank. Oh, I love it. Okay. Are you sure this is the temple? Different. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light, everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet, see the light, everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are one, we are love, one big family. Hey, hey, yeah. See the light, everybody. That's right. Everybody, get up on your feet. Come on now. See the light, everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Here we go. Got a little bridge. Let us on your feet. See the light. Everybody meet. What? Let us be reminded of who we've come to. What? We are one, we are one. Yes! One big family. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, should I go into like, hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. Woo! Give yourselves a hand! Big round of applause for my girl, Michelle Rose. Hey,
Wow. Patty Powers, Michelle Rowe, and Dave. Thank you. As you all are up on your feet, if it's comfort for you, please say with me, God bless America and the rest of the world. And if you would turn to a neighbor and say, good morning.
She does everything. Sorry, no. It's all you.
No. A lot of you already know this song. It's called I Came Here to Be, and I wrote it a while ago, and you guys picked it for your song when we did the ordination celebration, and it's a great song. I just say so myself. More pats on the back. So you can clap, and if you know the words, sing along. And it's kind of long-winded for a minute. So take some deep breaths in on this one.
I can't
love Dave, love Aldo, love Lauren, love the grandkids, love all of you. All of you.
We feel the same.
Today is a good and great and grand day.
Do you guys notice that the table isn't as wobbly?
I know, thank you, Clem. I really do love you for this, because that was really not representative of who we are as an abundant center for spiritual living. It was much too rickety. So I am Stacy Hilton. I am one of the co-ministers along with Reverend Cheryl Bell, who forgot to introduce herself. So I said I would do that part for her. You all look great. I have something that I want to show you. We were gone the week before last. I brought Sunshine with me last week. And got to play with her for all day on the way back coming home on that Friday, which was the 4th? The 4th. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But I want to show you something. I think you kind of might want to see what we kind of do when we go away, right? We're not just, well, we are playing, but there is a method to our madness. And so I just wanted to show you this.
If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where my spirit is encouraged to take wing, where do I go to fly? If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where my pain and tears are understood, where do I go to cry?
If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where my reality is valued, where do I go to share?
If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where I am authentically included and accepted, where do I go to be?
If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where I can live, learn, and love, where do I go to grow?
If Centers for Spiritual Living is not the place where I feel seen, valued, and included, where do I serve?
Stacy Hilton. I'm co-minister of Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. I moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas in 2002. In 2007, I found my spiritual home. I began classes in 2007 and went straight through to become a minister in 2014. My friends and family are here at the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living because moving from LA, I didn't have anyone else except for Reverend Cheryl. I have seen a lot of shift since I've been as minister. I have watched my senior minister become ill and eventually pass away in 2015. 9 months after becoming a minister. I watched my roommate's mom pass away suddenly on a Sunday afternoon after service. I saw my roommate have one of 4 grand mal seizures. I watched people be mean and nasty as this election happened in 2016. I watched membership come and go and leadership change, money be funny. I've seen a lot. And I know our 2019 Ministers Gathering is an opportunity for breakthrough. As many of you know, I'm on the Ministers Council, and so that was what we were charged to do. Talk about, where, if Centers for Spiritual Living is not where I can go, where my tears are understood, where is it that I go? And so I'd like to ask you, have you think about that for Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living? Here are the questions. If Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living is not the place where my spirit is encouraged to take wing, where do I go to fly? Where my pain and tears are understood, where do I go to cry? Where my reality is valued, where do I go to share? Where I am authentically included and accepted, where do I go to be? Where I can live, learn, and love, where do I go to grow? Where I feel seen and valued and included, where do I serve? And so that's what we were charged through. And the Ministers Gathering was called Breakthrough. And it was, we saw people really have a breakthrough. There's been somewhat of a division between Centers for Spiritual Living based upon this idea of individual healing, which is the absolutist science of mind person, and the collective conscious, or the conscious healing, which is social action and social justice, which we've kind of veered towards. Some of you don't like that. Some of you want to stay in the individual. And it's okay wherever you are on that, because what we eventually did was we showed that all are welcome, all are needed, and all are valued. But sometimes, it's like, well, what happened to this other stuff that I thought I was learning? And we've evolved, but we haven't left that behind. It's just, we're constantly evolving. Constantly evolving. So it was really a really good conference. Even Reverend Cheryl spoke after Dr. Moira. So Dr. Moira is, she's the spiritual director of Redondo Beach. She was our teacher and still our mentor. And she spoke, it was her first ministers gathering. And she absolutely loved it, which is really exciting to me, being one part of putting it on. And Cheryl actually spoke after her, which
I know, I was shocked too.
I was like, of all the people to get up and speak to afterwards, woo! So it was really a breakthrough. But I want you to keep that in your own minds. If Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living isn't the place for you to feel all of those things that I talked about, where is it that you would go? And how might we maybe serve you even more than we already do? So I'm here today to talk about oneness. Reverend Sachin did a beautiful job last week about speaking about unity and cherishing the human family. She's something else, isn't she? She really, really is. And I'm proud of all the things that she's doing and becoming, and she's looking to run to be our spiritual leader. Because Dr. Ken Gordon, who is our current spiritual leader, his term is up and he's retiring. And so there's lots of shift. It's like the big organization, it comes down to us as well. Reverend Dan, for those of you who weren't here last week, he's decided to not return. And so that's big news. That's big news. And we know that we love him where he is and we cherish him, and we know that he's doing what's best for him. These ministers' gatherings are really important for ministers because a lot of times there is nobody, we can't, Reverend Cheryl and I can't go to you and cry on your shoulder like we used to, perhaps, right? Some of us we do, but we really have to share with other ministers. And so, as I stated in the video, I shared that because you can feel that there is something different that kind of shifts when you're a minister. And so, and not that it feels lonely. I mean, I never necessarily feel lonely, but I just feel like I cannot express to the same people that I would normally express to. So it's really important to get away and do those types of things. So thank you for allowing us to do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So this morning, talking about oneness. We talk about oneness all the time, don't we? Right? There's just the one thing going on. God is like a circle whose center is everywhere and circumference is nowhere. In our Declaration of Principles, it states that we believe in the one indestructible, absolute self-existent cause. This one, in and through all creation, cannot be absorbed by its creation. Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in one drop." That's the truth of each of us. Each of us. It's basic math, right? Not addition and subtraction, but multiplication and division, right? The one cannot be divided. If you divide 1 to 1, what do you get? 1 times 1 is, there's just one thing. I call it good and very good. Sometimes it shows up as not so good, but that's my own judgment. Anybody else have any judgment about anything that might be going on? No. It's our judgment. And if we do see something that we'd like to shift, then perhaps it's ours to do, to shift it. Right? Yvonne, I love you. Yvonne, our board member, where are you? She's over there. She's back there doing something, as she always is. a couple weeks ago, she asked me if I would like to be a truancy judge. A truancy judge. So I filled out the paperwork, and I am a truancy judge. That's my Friday morning gig. It's my volunteer job. I figured if I want the universe to know that we need more youth and family people at our center, that I got to do something. And so that came up, and so that's what I chose to do. So that's my Friday morning thing that I do. And it's a wonderful program. There are parents that have trouble getting their kids to school on time or getting them there at all, based upon their own circumstances. And we don't need to judge them as right or wrong, good or bad, but it happens a lot. And this being a Title I school that I'm working at, they're funded by kids that are in school, not at home. So it's really, really important that these kids get to school. If you have 3 tardies, you are considered absent. So some of these kids, school started August 14th or somewhere around there. Some of these school kids have been out 18 times already, which means by state law, the principal has got to hold them back. No matter if they have straight A's, no matter what, they're already going to be held back. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that. I have about 25 kids that I see on a Friday morning. This means unexcused absences as well as excused absences. If you are not there, it doesn't matter. They don't get funding. So that's important. Well, this school does a really good job. So I put on my judge robe, which is kind of cool. I don't have a gavel yet, but I'm working on it. But you know, it's last week kind of tore my heart up a little bit in that there was this young man. He's maybe in the 4th grade. You know, I have them write, they sign in. And he didn't write very well. You could see that he was kind of struggling with that. And he's charming as all get out and cute as all get out. And he's got deep, deep dimples. And his name is Vito. Vito. And Vito is some other nationality, not sure what that is. But I asked him about how his day was going. And he said, okay. I said, well, it says here, because what my goal is to get them to have 3 goals a week. And so they show up on Friday morning, and we talk about their goals, and if they met all their goals, they get a prize. I'm a sticker. So he hadn't met any of his goals. He hadn't done his homework. He was misbehaving in class, and you know, just not really able to do his work. And so I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, you know, Miss Stacy, I'm not very smart. The things that we teach our youth are so important, and that's why it's important that we get them in these doors. Because I went on to talk to him, and I said, you are smart. Don't say that about yourself. You're very, very smart. You're charming, and you're handsome, and you make a difference. And you talk to some of the teachers, and the teachers are into this whole collective consciousness thing that if they're not X, and if they're not Y, and if they're not Z, then they are useless. That's what is going on in the world, and starting with 3rd and 4th graders. It's really, really not okay. And so I'm going to have to pray and see what's mine to do and how to make a difference in that way. Because anybody that crosses my path is telling me that they're not smart and they're not beautiful, and basically they're telling me that they're not valued in this society. That's a problem. The kid went on to tell me that. I said, well, how come you don't do your homework? He said, well, because I don't have time. Besides the fact that I'm not smart, I don't have time. I said, well, what do you mean you don't have time? I said, well, I help my dad wash cars. And my dad gives me $25 for every car that I wash. I said, $25? That's a lot of money. He said, yeah, I'm going to buy new clothes and new sneakers, and I'm going to look good for the girls. He's 8. It's funny. And you can see the writing is on the wall to some degree. Now the writing can be adjusted, but the writing is on the wall. He knows how to use his looks and his charm. He was negotiating with me about getting another prize, you know, and talking about the money and the clothes and the girls and the sneakers. We've seen this story before. The problem is that somewhere along the line, he's forgotten who he truly is. Most of us, when we walk into a Science of Mind center, religious science, whatever we called it back then, the reason why we loved it is because we were reminded of who we truly are. Yes? Yeah. It's exactly what we attempt to remind you each and every week. There's just the one thing going on. And if God is in everything and is everywhere, then certainly God made you and I. God doesn't make junk. God is absolute. God is peace, power, joy, love, intelligence, and so much more. But somewhere along the line, we have forgotten to remind our kids of this. I don't mean you in this room. I know that you will. That's not the truth. And we see kids all the time that need that reminder. I would love to get them in here and be able to tell them the way the way our teachers do. I would love that, and then we're visioning for that. I didn't know they're going to come through these doors. And we've got to do something about our space because there's not very much space there. Because once you start visioning, you can't turn it off. And so please just know that for our world. We've gotten this whole thing, particularly in the United States, about how much money you have means that you are more valuable than someone else who has less money. We're each the same one. How can you be more valuable than I am? Based upon my skin color? Based upon my orientation? Based upon my being a minister? Based upon my being whatever? There is no separation between God and us. Ever. No matter what it looks like. Sunshine did a beautiful job of explaining that to us. Why she calls certain people beloved. Or all people beloved. And what I love about Sunshine is she's the same coming and going. We spent the entire day, I don't know why it took the entire day to get somewhere that's 3 hours away, but we spent the entire day with her. Every person that comes to her path, she treats the same. Everybody's beloved. She greets everybody with a smile. We can do the same thing. We can do the same thing with each and every person, each and every child. Everybody. Because we all feel a little less than sometimes, don't we? And we in this room know better. We come here to remind each other. And we do a beautiful job. As Patty says, this is the best day ever. Sundays are the best days. We come to celebrate who we are. It's really all we do. You get to hear a great song, some great songs. You get to hear some centering of beautiful prayers. And we get to be with one another and celebrate the truth of who we are. We don't have to hide it. I don't know what's going on with this. We don't have to hide it. We get to just be who we are and live from that place and celebrate each one of us. So, and we get to practice sometimes during the week. Sometimes on Sundays too. So as many of you know, my mom was here last week. And I get to share this story because it's my story. So I don't want to hear it. You know I love my mom. And she's a handful, for those of you that don't know that. I don't know how you missed that, but you know, sometimes. I don't think she doesn't hide it very well. She doesn't try to hide it very well. Nor should she have to. But here's the thing. I get off the plane and Cheryl and I get off the plane. Sunshine's going her way. And Cheryl and I are going home and my mom is driven in my car. And first thing she says to me, besides hello, glad to have you back, is, I had a little accident. And then she must have seen the look in my face, because I'm thinking the car, right? She said, no, not in the car. And then she didn't really continue. I was like, okay, here we go. Buckle up again. And so she goes on to tell me that she fell in Target, blah, 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 and blah, 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 but she was okay. And so that part was okay. And she was going to do some stuff around my house for me. And put some boxes away and some this and that. But she didn't get, I figured this is the story. She didn't get to that because she fell. Well, she also has storage in Las Vegas. She lives in San Francisco. She's had that storage for 7 years. And she didn't want that storage anymore. You know where this is going? So she decided to move, unbeknownst to me, without a phone call, without a text. All of her not all of it. Okay, I exaggerate. 13 boxes. I don't know about 13. 13 boxes to my garage without my permission. Or I don't live by myself either. Reverend Cheryl's my roommate and my bestie. So she decided to do this. And so I had to practice remembering who I am. It's not easy always. And so it was neat. And it was cleaned up and swept up, and some of the stuff I had asked was done, but there was a lot of stuff in my garage. Now there's already a lot of stuff in my garage. We won't mention that. But that person that has a lot of stuff pays her rent to have that stuff in the garage, so I really don't need to have a lot of judgment around that. I don't need to, but sometimes I do. I'm sorry, Reverend Cheryl, in advance for the next time I say something about it. We ate dinner, my mom and Cheryl and I, and it was late. And the more I thought about it, just the more you think about something, you don't see necessarily, because of the melanin in my skin, see me turn red. But my blood was just boiling. Just boiling. And I took something to go to sleep because I knew that perhaps I would wake up in the middle of the night with probably my head blown off. And it didn't work. I woke up in 3 hours. And then the more I'm thinking about it, and I'm going back in the past, and I'm this and this, and this and this, and she always does this, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then I just said, you know what? I'm blessed to have my mom here, still with me. And my job is to say something, because this is my mom's MO, and this is our dance. Sometimes people have dances, and they have patterns that they just kind of fall into. And although we are certainly one, you can't look at my mom and not, if I ever forgot, you can't really look at her and not remember that that's my mom. There is something that I'm called to do as her daughter, and that is to say what I need to say and not just let her roll over and do what she wants to do, because that's kind of how she rolls.
Sounds like my mom.
Anybody else have a mother like that? Yeah, Mary Carmen, we've had that discussion. But that's mine to do. That's my lesson. That's perhaps why I picked this person to be my mom. Besides her good looks, I had to maybe have something else that I chose this woman for, besides all the good that she does and is. Because please don't think that I don't appreciate all the good she does and all the good that she is. But she does have this personality. And I have, although many of you think I'm an extrovert, I'm not. I'm an introvert, and she's Miss Extrovert. And let's go, and let's be this, and let's do this. And I'm like, really, Mom? I'm an extrovert introvert. And she is the beloved mom. And so, I finally went back to sleep. And what I struggled with, particularly as a minister, it's one of those minister things, maybe as a practitioner I would struggle with it as well. And maybe even as just a person that knows better. When you know better, you do better kind of thing. I struggled with the fact that I had done this, said this, not out loud, but was thinking all that I was thinking about my mom. Now, she deserved it. But the lesson was for me. The lesson was for me to stand in my truth and speak my truth to this woman that has always done this my entire life. Say it with grace, say it with the ability to let her know how much I love and appreciate her, and still say, no, this is not okay. That's my lesson. And so I did that the next morning. That's huge for me. So if I didn't know I was a minister last week, or 2 weeks ago, I knew I was right in that moment. Because that's the kind of stuff that we're called to do. When you know better, you do better. And you stand in your truth. Now the boxes still haven't completely gone away. But thank you, Clem. But they are manageable. And Clem helped her the next day. And because I was on the internet looking up places to pick up boxes, and I was like, that's not nice and that's not kind. But I was going to do it. In my mind, I had every thought that was going to move me in that direction. I thought the kind thing, the nice thing, is not to be passive aggressive and to just say what I need to say. And there were tears, and she understood. Or if she didn't understand, she said she did. But it went out. Again, it's not about her. It's about me. It's about me realizing my oneness with my mother. If I can realize my oneness with each and every one of you, why should she be any different? Why should she be any different? Shame on me if that would be the case. And so we worked through it. One of the things that came to me when I was figuring out the best way, I didn't figure anything out. When I sat with myself and the God of my being about the best way to handle the situation, was this thing called the Ho'oponopono ritual. The Ho'oponopono ritual, we did it at a craft retreat, we did it at a conference, and I'd like us to all do that, because I think there's some clearing out that we can do for one another and for this space. Anybody with me? Yeah. All right, so here's the thing. In a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to stand up. And it's just really 4 easy steps. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. It's called the Oneness ceremony, honoring and healing. Ho'oponopono, ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. And so the first thing is, I'm sorry. I'm so remorseful that something in my consciousness has created this idea. Second thing is, please forgive me. Remember your remorse and mean it as if and ask to be forgiven. The third thing is thank you. Be thankful for being forgiven. You already know that in advance. With spirit, there's nothing to forgive. It's all about us. And the last is I love you. Say it with depth and feeling, allowing the power of love to fill you in the world. So it's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. Simple, right? So, those that are willing, if you can stand up. And we're going to do it 4 times, right? We're going to face this way. We're going to doing it for each direction. So, I don't mean to turn my back on you, but I will. So, you ready? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Turn. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now just turn to your neighbor and say the same thing, or whatever. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. Can I have a partner? Oh, here, Cheryl. Come here. Come here. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. You may be seated. So that's how we clear things up. I didn't say that to my mom. It wasn't necessary. I didn't need her to say it to me. But I did need to say it within my own consciousness about knowing who I am and being the person that I want to be. And I really am grateful for the lesson and for me standing in my truth. And still tough, and still was shaking in my boots like I was probably 7 years old. But I still did it. I still did it. So this week, maybe there's somebody that, maybe it's yourself, maybe it's somebody that maybe could use that Ho'oponopono ritual. That needs to remember the truth of their being. And maybe you could say that to them, or at least say it to yourself. Yes? Yes. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Make it a great week. And so
Minister, the children are here.
So, real quick, our affirmation today was, I am connected to all life. And we read this book called Hey Little Ant, and it's talking about how this boy wants to squish an ant, and how the ant's convincing him not to because they're technically the same. Okay, thank you. It's called Hey Little Ant, not Hey Little Ant. Yeah. And in the back of the book, in the back of the book, it kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger, but it says, should the ant get squished, should the ant get free, it's up to the kid, not up to me. We'll leave the kid raised with his shoe up. What do you think the kid should do?
We also, we did this thing where each time we have something in common, we throw some yarn at us, and then we take the string, keep going around. That's how much it was. It was like 16 between us and like 20 between. It was a lot. String theory. It's like string theory. And we also watched a video about like the Big Bang, right? And I was like, wait, the Big Bang Theory? No. Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about how it's like we're gonna have to move to different planets and wormholes in trillions of years. Yeah, like trillions of years.
We're gonna heal this one so we can stay. Thank you. I'd like to ask my co-minister, Reverend Stacy, to please come up. Visiting ministers.
Our assistant minister.
Oh, and our assistant minister. Any ministers. Get your butt up here.
All of the above.
Any visiting practitioners or just come on up. I would like to ask our ministry and prayer team to come up because they are the ones that hold not only the center of, but each one of you. And we have prayer boxes if you want to put a prayer in the box. God's pocket, there's also one in the grand hall. And they'll pray with you today, if you would like, or they'll just talk to you. They like to talk. So, anyone visiting, if you would please sign our guest book so that I can keep in touch with you. I promise I will not stalk you or anything like that. Just want you to know what's happening here because we surely value your presence. And also, again, if you want to know more about our teaching or more about what Reverend Stacy was talking about today, Reverend Wanda will do that right after service. Thank you. And if you would all please stand and connect as Reverend Stacy do our benediction.
One day I'm going to remember to do this right after I speak. So let's just take a deep breath. And feeling that presence and that energy of pure love, pure light, pure joy, that which is each and every one of us. We are made from that. And so we cannot be anything but that. And so I'm just knowing that each and every person remembers exactly who they are this week. As they gather in the hallway, as they move on to their next destination today, they just remember that they are love, and they are light, and they are magnificent, and each person is loved. And so from that place, they just spread that love and that joy to each and every person that comes into or onto their path. So for that, I'm just so grateful. Grateful to know this truth of who each of us is. Grateful for this teaching. Grateful for the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. Grateful for all of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So it is. Let's sing our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, this begins from me, and this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous sound. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and now it begins with me.
Repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.